Today, we're diving deep inside the mind of a man on the absolute edge. A man completely possessed by a monstrous idea. We're going to use Fyodor Dostoevsky's masterpiece, Crime and Punishment, to trace the anatomy of a truly terrible thought and the kind of world that could make it seem not just possible, but maybe even necessary.
So, picture this. It's a sweltering July evening in St. Petersburg. The air is just thick with the smell of taverns and city dust. And in this oppressive, suffocating world, we meet our protagonist, Raskolnikov. He's a brilliant former student, but now he's trapped in a tiny, coffin-like room, dodging his landlady because he owes her money. But his real prison, well, that's his own mind.
And this, right here, is the question that's eating him alive. Because for a whole month, he's been consumed by a plan, an idea that he himself finds disgusting and repulsive, but one he just can't shake. He's thinking about a crime so big it would change everything. The real question isn't just what he's planning, but why a guy like him would even go there.
You gotta understand, Raskolnikov has totally cut himself off from the world. He's agonizingly poor, and for a month, he has just been lying there in his little corner, nursing what he calls his desperate deed. And this isn't just some daydream. Oh no, he's been rehearsing it.
His target is an old pawnbroker, a woman named Alina Ivanovna, and the way he studied her is just chilling. He's counted the exact number of steps to her front door, 730. He even pawned his own father's watch just as an excuse to get inside, to scout the layout, to notice that she keeps her keys in her right pocket. This is a rehearsal, a cold, calculated dry run of his monstrous idea.
You know how sometimes your own thoughts are just too much to handle? Well, Raskolnikov flees his tiny room and ducks into a filthy tavern just to escape his own head for a minute. And there he meets a man whose story is like a dark mirror, reflecting all the suffering and sacrifice that's about to come crashing into his own life.
The man's name is Marmeladov, a disgraced official, and he lays out this incredibly bleak philosophy. He makes this really crucial distinction. He says, you can be poor and still have your pride, but indigence, total destitution, that's different. That's a vice. Why? Because that's how society treats it. They don't just push you aside, they sweep you out like you're garbage. It's a state where you lose everything, especially your own humanity.
And believe me, Marmeladov isn't just talking theory. He is the living embodiment of indigence. He confesses everything to Raskolnikov. His wife, Catherine, she's educated but dying of consumption and lashing out in her pain. His little kids are starving. He admits he has drunk away every last cent they had. He even drank away his wife's stockings. He's left them in absolute ruin.
But then comes the most devastating part of his confession. He reveals the story of his daughter Sonia and the choice she was forced to make to save her family from starving to death. And this choice, well, it echoes the exact themes of sacrifice and moral compromise that are swirling around in Raskolnikov's own head.
Marmeladov just lays it all out, this awful, awful sequence of events. The children are crying from hunger. His wife, Catherine, half mad with grief, turns on Sonia, taunting her, asking why she's doing nothing to help. And so Sonia, his gentle, quiet daughter, puts on her shawl and walks out. Hours later, she comes back, doesn't say a word. She just puts money on the table. She now has her yellow ticket, the official police registration for prostitutes. 30 silver rubles. That is the actual, tangible price of her sacrifice. That's the money she lays down to feed her family, while her father lies drunk and her stepmother kneels and kisses her feet all night long. It's the cost of survival.
So the next morning, Raskolnikov is still reeling from this story, and bam, he gets a letter from his mother. And all of a sudden, the abstract horror of Sonia's sacrifice becomes a terrifyingly personal reality. The letter reveals that his own sister, Dunya, is about to make a very, very similar sacrifice for him.
His mother introduces Dunya's fiancé, a guy named Lucian. And let me tell you, the red flags are immediate. He's a calculating man of business who's made it crystal clear what he wants. He wants to marry a poor girl, one who's known suffering, because, in his words, it's better for a wife to see her husband as her benefactor.
Ugh. The mismatch is just horrifying. His mother describes his sister Dunya as an angel, noble, proud, magnificent. But Lucian, he's arrogant and calculating. This is not a marriage of love. It's a business transaction, plain and simple, designed to save the family from poverty and, crucially, to help Raskolnikov's future career. Dunya is selling herself.
Raskolnikov's reaction is instantaneous. He explodes. In his mind, there is absolutely no difference between his sister marrying this creep for money and Sonya selling herself on the street. To him, it is the same disgusting sacrifice, the same moral degradation, and there's no way he's going to let it happen.
And just like that, the crisis isn't a philosophical game anymore. It's real. It's urgent. His terrible idea suddenly has a purpose. It's not just a theory now. It looks like a potential solution to a desperate personal problem. And he's faced with two completely unbearable choices.
Okay, so, option 1. He can do nothing. He can stand by and let his beloved sister Dunya chain herself to a man she despises, sacrificing her entire life and her happiness, all for his sake. He would be saved, but through her misery.
Or, option 2. He can follow through with his monstrous plan. He can commit the crime, take the pawnbroker's money himself, and seize the power to save his sister from her fate. He would become her savior through his own damnation.
And that is the thought that takes hold. The crisis has pushed his dangerous theory right to the breaking point. Is it cowardice to follow the rules of society when those rules just lead to ruin? Or is there another kind of courage, a terrible, awful courage, and stepping beyond them? It's a question that really makes you wonder what it means to be a hero or a villain, in a world where sometimes every single choice feels like a crime.